Hello everyone, how has your week been? I'm here to talk to you guys about games, and joining me is the most sunburned man in all of Europe, Game Riot Army.
Hello.
So how did your face turn into like a tomato? What's the story here?
I went to Silverstone, which is basically a British Grand Prix. It's where Formula 1 cars go around in circles, and it's entertaining, I guess, for some people.
They go in circles.
It's basically, I was sitting in a stand. There's no shelter, so it's literally just me, and the sun's just burning my face. But it didn't feel that hot. It was quite a low temperature, but I guess the sun was just on it for so long. So I was there for
you were
3
just
or 4 hours.
Just so into the cars, it's just like scalding the skin. It's peeling off your face as you stand there. And you don't even notice because you're just like, look at them go.
I was like, we stopped off on the way home, and my dad went, "Jesus, you're red." I was like, damn it, my whole face was just stone red.
Well, you've been telling me every day of the week, you're like, this is bad. This is very bad. It's not. It's not looking good.
Off my face. It's just I've got I think I've got permanent damage as well from it.
Oh really?
Heat spot thing.
Okay, it's not funny anymore then, huh?
No, it's just the skin's still there. Penis, horrible.
But you didn't scare people in public because you did make it out to the Xbox event that they had in London this week.
I swear people looked at me because I had skin coming off my forehead.
Just falling off.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
So what was this event? You went down to the grand city of London to play some games for. They weren't all Microsoft games, but it was a Microsoft event, correct?
It's basically games that will be on the Xbox One. So.
Okay.
But yeah, I went down to this event in Shepherd's Bush, and basically played some games. So the main games I played were Evolve for the first time, which was very, very good. At first I was like, what the hell's going on with that game? It felt very, very confusing at the start. I was like, what's going on? And I didn't know the buttons and stuff, but...
Now, did they give you any pre-playing tips or anything, or did they just drop you in?
They showed a little video off, and then the guy was giving me instructions as I was going. So I was putting down traps where it can basically capture the guy, and it gets him caught, doesn't it, for a bit of time. And he's like, I've got the shield you can put out, so basically a barrier which the monster can't go past. And it felt very, very good. But I was saying to you the other day, I'm not sure if it's going to have sort of longevity or not. Mm-hmm. I feel like it may get boring. It's got to be plenty of different modes, different characters and stuff, and just try and vary it up a little bit. I'm just worried that it will be a couple of week game that everyone just get bored of it.
Now, do you say that because of the mechanics or because to me, I played enough rounds where it felt different and exciting each time. I mean, it kind of boils down to the same experience. You're hunting this monster, big battle with him, duke it out. But to me, I felt knowing in the back of my head that there's going to be 3 monsters plus 1 DLC monster, and that there's going to be 12 hunters at launch plus DLC hunters.
How many maps are there going to be?
They haven't announced that. They've shown 2. I mean, I've heard people say oh, this game probably has 8 or 9 maps, but I don't think so. You
reckon more?
No, I think less.
Oh,
I think about Left 4 Dead. How many maps did that have? What, 5, 4? And
more, I'm thinking the DLC. I think,
but if you think about there's so much wildlife, there's so much AI and different routines going on in these maps. I feel even though you don't it's not going through them a linear fashion, they are very planned out. And so my guess is there's actually going to be a small, I would say 5 maps is my guess.
Yeah, the fact that they are so big, I reckon you may be right, but I feel like it needs more. It needs more variation. I mean, we had the first match we had, was very quick. It was it was Alan, so it was more console being the monster, and he wasn't perhaps as good. He's learning the skills and stuff. So
right.
And it's quite easy to find. So we just ran up to him, shot him loads, and he died fairly quickly.
Really weird in that game because I love playing. I played in a tournament atmosphere. It was great with a team. Everybody was working together. The monsters knew what they were doing. But yeah, if matchmaking isn't perfect, it's not one of those things where if I'm with some guys that don't know what they're doing, we can still kind of have fun. Because if the monster's clueless, you're going to go and just end the match in very 5 quickly. Minutes.
Yeah.
Or
two minutes. The second one was completely different. The guy was I don't know if he's a pro or something, but it was we couldn't find him. It was we would. Basically, the monster will alert the birds and he must be over there. And so we go over there. So he must be around the area. And by the time we get there, he's already moved back to another area. So we're just going around in circles.
And that was much more fun for you, right?
No, it took too long for me.
Oh,
I couldn't find him. It generated 3 to was it the third one?
Yeah, third evolution.
We had to get to the generator, and we didn't see him until that bit. Literally just going around in circles, and it felt very, very odd. It was just us running around in circles for 10 or 15 minutes.
Did you have headsets like to communicate with your teammates or?
Yeah, but we couldn't find him. We had we had a drone out trying to find him.
Looking.
It's just like it must be using the water, because in the water you can't leave footsteps and stuff. I don't know what's going on.
It's really interesting. I think it's good that I guess you had this experience, I had that experience, because it shows that the game probably won't play perfectly every round, and you're really relying on players to make it happen. It's not a game where it's like, oh, we know that there's going to be this epic encounter here, we know there's going to be this tank here, like Left 4 Dead. It's more like, hey, we have to have all 5 people knowing what they're doing and making this work as a group, as a collaborative effort. But the one thing I think about is games like League of Legends, games like Dota 2, where it's one map, it's the same objective every single time, and yet those games seem to attract more gameplay hours than any other game on the market. Like, people put thousands of hours into these games, even though it's the same thing. Is Evolve kind of maybe going down that alley instead?
I reckon so. I just think because there's so many like variations between like the skills, I guess, between the different pairings. I feel like perhaps like the medic, the trapper perhaps won't be used as much, and I feel everyone's going to run for the support class and the assault class, which is more focused on doing damage as well, which might be a factor as well.
I believe you have to have one of each. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe...
Yeah, I'm sure you have, but I'm saying people won't want to pick those.
Oh,
it's like great, I'm the medic.
Right.
Well, the medic's okay, but it's like a sniper rifle. I had a sniper rifle and I could pick people up, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a game that definitely has an asterisk by it. Like, hey, you need a group of people that know what they're doing. But it seems like there's more and more games like that these days in terms of multiplayer-only games. Again, bringing in like the MOBAs or the MMOs, that it's not the same at all if you're just sitting there isolated in your room. And Evolve, maybe it's the first real console game that takes that strategy of like, hey, you have to have a group of people, otherwise, you know, this isn't Legend of Zelda, this isn't Call of Duty, where we have, you know, lone wolfing in that game is going to be impossible unless you just want to be the monster, which I guess that is their sort of, hey, we've got this monster role that you can just be by yourself and you don't need anybody.
I was even speaking to one of the monster guys, and they were like, I was just walking around eating stuff. And so I think this could be one of those games that people either love or hate. Yeah. For sure. I think people are going to love it, be like really into it, and some people are like, oh, this is boring. I mean, what is this game about? But we'll see, I guess.
It'll fit into an interesting... I don't think it has the potential to like take over the gaming space. I think it'll either form a really strong core group or it won't. And I guess we'll find out in like... The year is passing so fast. It's July, and we've got... Goodness gracious.
You say that, but there's literally nothing out at the moment. It's just empty.
There is.
Until there's September, nothing. Isn't it?
And this is so weird. Do you think that game companies should release more during the summer? Because, I mean, they must look at it and be like, okay, stuff doesn't sell. But at the same time, there's big summer movies, and not every kid is outside, like, running around until, you know, dusk. People are inside. People playing games. They have free time. I think a mid-tier game, something like Lords of the Fallen or Shadows of Mordor, would do spectacular releasing in August.
This is literally nothing, and I feel like there's such a big gap. There's like a perfect opportunity for someone just to slot in and get so much focus on them from YouTube, from the press, and it's just a missed opportunity for someone to really get in there. I mean, Last of Us done it, didn't they? I guess to a certain degree. I mean, movies focus on summertime. Exactly. Like, go to the movies. I mean, that's hot still. Right. I mean, people are still playing the evenings with like the window open, chilling out. They're still going to play in the evenings. I mean, it's just a weird. I don't know what they're thinking. It's weird.
It's strange to me that companies have like filtered into January, February. Those months used to be empty, but like summer is still like...
It's like an extended Christmas almost, isn't it?
Right, but summer is still like this big empty donut hole where nobody wants to mess with. And then you've got 4, 5, 6 games. I mean, October 28th here in America, we got Assassin's Creed Unity, Sunset Overdrive, Lords of the Fallen. There might even be one more, and it's like nobody is walking into Walmart with $200 and buying all those games. I mean, very few people will do that. And so why... I don't know. To me, it seems absolutely mad to make that decision to place your game right alongside a mega hit like Assassin's Creed.
Unless they're like pushing a DLC during summer. I don't know if that's true or not. But
what DLC is there? I mean, we get the infamous DLC, right, in August.
Yeah.
But that's about it. All right. What else did you see at this event?
I played Forza for a bit again. Forza's looking very, very impressive. It's a lot different to like Forza 5 Motorsport. It's very a lot more arcadey. I like the fact you can literally like just car across this whole field without going around the track, and it's all takes shortcuts and stuff, and it feels pretty good. It looks graphically very, very impressive. Also saw Halo Master Chief Collection, which was so we got a quick look at Halo 2, the first level. So he showed us like them switching between the old and new one. It's such a big difference. Like it's just crazy.
Now, just as a next gen game, does it impress you though, or is it only impressive?
No. It's not an impressive next gen game. It's like an impressive Xbox game. Well, not even actually.
Okay.
I mean, you have to remember this is such an. Didn't Halo 2 come out on the original Xbox?
Halo 2 is yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
it's
so it's like a sort of Xbox 360 game.
Okay.
I think it's not gonna be like a next gen like.
So it is a remake, but it's not a remake in like beautiful
no.
Halo 5 Guardians engine.
It looks dramatically different though compared to the old one. It's just so the way I used to visualize Halo 2 is completely different. I think I visualized it as a lot better. But it looks it's amazing what we've done with it, and they showed us like the sort of UI of it as well. So you go into multiplayer, you can pick what mode you want to do, what map, and it will sort of highlight Halo 1, 2, and 4 or something. So
is there any insight on like that multiplayer suite if it's just one?
It's one thing.
Okay,
but
so
you can
which
select
multiplayer
certain
is
modes. It's all of them in one.
So it's like, in terms of balance though, like the pistol from Halo 1 is.
Yeah, I know, it's weird.
It's like weird. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if they just sort of say this is like they sort of highlight Halo 1, 2, and 3, and then you can click that mode or you can click that map. You can do local multiplayer or.
So is each. I know this is getting confusing, but is each map then like so? If I pick a Halo 1 map, are we getting
every map's in it apparently? So yeah, I don't know if they remastered them all to be exactly the same or.
I just wonder like if you pick a Halo 3 map, are you getting Halo 3 multiplayer and then you pick a Halo 1 map? Because like.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Halo 4 is in this, right?
Yes.
And Halo 4 has armor abilities, right?
Yes.
So are armor abilities on the Halo 1 maps or no?
I don't know.
Yeah, it gets really confusing. Like,
they're telling us stuff, but they're still showing us the UI and stuff, and sort of saying like this is it. But I'm gonna go into it completely.
Sure. Did it make you more excited though? For it?
Yeah, I think I got quite excited about it. It looked really good, and they got like you can watch all the cutscenes over again. The freaking cutscenes are redone. Literally every cutscene has been redone, and it looks absolutely incredible.
So those must look significantly like that looks pretty
really
good.
You can actually tell that there's like a freaking CGI face or something.
Yeah,
it's so changed.
That's cool.
That's good. That's really, really cool.
I'm just gonna rapidly switch back and forth like 100 times as I'm like old, new, old, new, old, new, old, new.
It's cool. You can do it on the fly during the game as well. You can literally spontaneous. You can switch it between both, which is cool.
I see that as more of like a mess around kind of nostalgia experience rather than like, oh god, I'm gonna play through Halo 1, 2, like at least for me, maybe jump in, do a couple levels from Halo 2, move over to 3, move over to 4, something like that. I mean,
there's certain parts of all those games that I like. I don't like Halo 2 where you keep going back to the freaking, what's it, Avatar? What's that alien called?
The Arbiter.
Yeah, oh god. Every time you switch, I was like, sighing to myself every time. It's so frustrating.
And then the one that I'm most interested to hear your thoughts on is Sunset Overdrive, which after E3, this is kind of Microsoft's big, Master Chief Collection, but in terms of like a new Xbox One game, this is their big exclusive that they seem to be promoting quite heavily. And you got to play actually single player, which has me even more intrigued to hear what you think.
So yeah, I'm expecting a lot from this game, and it perhaps didn't deliver as much as I hoped. It felt very, very slow, like you've said already. I found it really awkward at first. I'm not sure if it's like one of those games you have to sort of play for a couple of hours and get used to the mechanics of it and the movement. The movement is the main thing for this game, so basically the enemy is going to attack you so quickly. Yeah. And you got to keep moving and like I was selecting the weapons, the teddy bear rocket launcher, and I was trying to experiment, but it just felt very, very slow to me. And it's very awkward to try and work out when can I jump on top of this building or this house, or when can I I don't know, it's awkward at times.
It's interesting to hear you say that because that's exactly what I felt. Like, it's a game that wants you to look cool, and I felt like I didn't even know how to be cool in the game because you're like, okay, am I supposed to be grinding over here? Wait, no, I'm going away from the enemies. Okay, if I run at them, oh my god, my character is so slow. Wait, I should probably try and bounce on something, but if I just stand here, I could shoot them. But wait, I really want to grind. Like, it's making you, I don't know, I felt like I was a complete invalid, like noob the whole time I was playing, which is not a good feeling. at all.
I feel exactly the same. Yeah, just like it just takes. I think it's just a very very long steep learning curve basically at the beginning of the game where you got to try and just work out when you can jump, when you can grind, and
the shooting is not specific, right? You're not really. I don't think they intend for you to aim.
Yeah, it's more like a sort of assist thing, isn't it? So sort of you aim in that general direction, and it will fire at that thing. But even like the little tasks and stuff was like, oh, kill this. I went up basically like a roller coaster, and it says, "I'll kill this this cart." I'm like, okay. Shut the cart. It's like, here, open bit, and then the next bit opens. I'm like, now there's a boss that appears out of nowhere. I'm like, is this what the whole game's going to be like?
Very strange. Yeah, it's what the funny contradiction is, like when you see the trailer, you're like, oh my god, this game looks so approachable. It's got bright colors. Everybody's gonna love it. And then you get your hands on it, and you're like, oh my god, this is the most confusing game I've played all year. Which is just funny to me because it looks like something that my little brother would want to pick up, and I would want to pick up, and it would be so fun. You're just gliding around the city and shooting stuff and upgrading your guns. But the vibe I got was Dead Rising, which, I mean.
Yep, I know what you mean.
In terms of controls too, like awkward
actually.
And almost like intentionally awkward or something. Like because
it's like a Japanese game or something.
Yeah, it's AAA though. Like they have a lot of budget behind this, and yet it just I don't know how you playtest this game and say that that's the version you want to put out.
I feel like the fact we played it for like 20 minutes or like half an hour, I feel that it's not enough time. I just think we need to play it a bit longer. And we are being very very negative about this game, but. I like the colours and the vibe it gives off, but it just feels a bit sluggy and slow. It feels like it should be like a really fast, like bang, 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 and it's been like really, I don't know, it's difficult.
The other question I have for you about this is seeing it, the closest comparison is Infamous Second Son, just visually in terms of Xbox One and PS4. Up close in person, how do you think it stacked up to the PS4 exclusive?
It doesn't look as sharp at all, like, in terms of sharpness, in terms of like, you look at the character, it's slightly jaggedy. It doesn't have that infamous like perfection.
No, yeah.
For me, it doesn't.
There's not
it
like
looks
that
good, though.
Pure sheen that Infamous has, and I feel like the lighting is way worse in Sunset as well. I know that they're not going for realism, but they're not doing the lighting tricks that Infamous does with like reflections and some of the stuff that really jumps out at you. But they're really pushing it. I mean, they're supposedly bringing out a Xbox One just for that, sort of how PlayStation is doing the Destiny, the white one. I've still hear rumors that they're going to be bringing out a white or a different colored Xbox One with Sunset. So they're confident in it, which makes me hopeful. We'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
Fingers crossed. I'm still hopeful for it. But
anything else you saw there? Is that the most of it?
I saw Alien Isolation for a bit, but have we spoken about it already?
I think we just said we didn't know what we were doing and we're running around scared. And
I saw AC Unity being played in front of me, which is very, very impressive. That game looks amazing. There's still stuff out there again I'm not sure about. The face stuff still looks a bit odd.
Ubisoft is like never good at faces, are they? Something about their engine just doesn't.
But everything else looks so good. And then you look at the face, I'm like, why is it like he's been punched in the face like 10 times?
Right.
I don't know.
Very, very interesting. Well, that's very cool that you got to play that. It makes me jealous. I kind of want to move to the UK because they seem to have all these events all the time, and here in Indiana, like I don't think a lot of these companies even know what Indiana is. So that is very epic. Another thing that we wanted to touch on, I basically played nothing new. There's like nothing out right now. I downloaded Metroid, Super Metroid, and Zelda: A Link to the Past on my Wii U because there's like nothing to play. Going back,
I played Sims 4 for a bit.
Oh yeah, tell us about that real fast.
So it's this is basically like an early access demo I got to play. It's basically you create your first sim. It feels very similar to 3, but it does look like slightly sharper. The graphics look a little bit better. And it's a little bit more variation with the customization. You sort of select the nose and then move it. You can select the bottom and then make it bigger or smaller. Or you can just very so you can pick bigger boobs and whatever you want to do.
Now, Sims 3 came out in 2009, and you're telling me this looks barely better?
It looks better, for sure. It looks. I don't know. Have you seen the gameplay? So you must.
I've watched your character customization, and I thought it would look better, but they are going for that cartoony style. So
still, yeah.
I mean, it looks good. I'm shocked to hear you say that it kind of looks. I don't know. I would have expected more clarity. I don't know.
It's still like more of a cartoony style vibe, so it's not gonna be like amazing. Like
none of the game though, right? You've just done the customization, correct?
Just that, yeah, correct.
Okay, interesting. So that one is coming. That's coming out soon, isn't it?
September.
Okay. all of these games again. Why is Sims not out right now? They would sell.
It must be ready. I bet it's ready to go. So.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Put it out. We want to see it. But we also want to talk about pre-orders. There's been a lot of talk recently, and I think this stemmed a lot from Alien Isolation. And they were going to basically give away the original cast of the movies as playable characters if you pre-ordered the game. And it seemed like a complete terrible move. Like, why are you withholding the biggest piece of fan service, the most, the thing that would get people to buy the game most with a pre-order?
Is it a terrible idea, though? I bet they're making a lot of money from it.
Well, they've now announced that they are giving that to everyone. There was so much uproar that everyone gets it now.
Well, you can buy it. You can't. You can buy it, can't you, afterwards?
Oh, really? It's not free?
Yeah, you can buy it. You can't. Still got to pre-order it.
So go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, so originally they were going to do it just for pre-orders and that's it. You couldn't buy it, but now they're going to do like you can.
I thought they were giving it to everybody like a gesture of good faith.
As long as I know, I might be wrong. But.
Very, very, very. Yeah, I mean, I guess on one hand, like you have the argument that why are they locking all this content behind all these doors? There's so many microtransactions now. There's so much DLC. Everything is locked away. And on the other hand, you have what you're saying, which is, well, it probably definitely moves a lot of copies. That's why they do it. If it wasn't,
it's just pre-orders are so big these days that literally everyone wants you to pre-order. Which I think, first of all, pre-ordering is a very bad idea anyway. Unless you're 100% sure about the game, don't pre-order it. It's just no point. Well,
here's my thing. Why would you pre-order unless the only reason you should pre-order is if it's a collector's edition? Because in today's day and age, unless you live in some very small country, there is no chance that this game is going to sell out everywhere. That just doesn't happen anymore. And so all you're doing by pre-ordering is basically giving the store that you go to a loan, and then they get to use your money to make more money. Absolutely ridiculous. It makes there's no logical sense except these little goodies that they give you, and it's all a scheme for the store to profit off of you, basically.
I mean, I pre-ordered the Destiny Ghost Edition just because I knew it, and it's sold out apparently everywhere now. So
right, that's fine. But if you're gonna go pre-order the regular edition of Assassin's Creed Unity,
but then I mean that game I can understand a little bit because you sort of know you're gonna like it.
But why not just show up and buy it at the day of? Why?
For me personally, I like to get my pre-order. I get mine sent through a post. That's one reason, I guess. But again, you should probably wait for reviews. But then again, if say like FIFA, you're gonna like FIFA. You know what to expect. Assassin's Creed, you know what to expect. Call of Duty, you know what to expect. So those sort of games I understand. But stuff like Aliens, which is a brand new IP, basically, you're not sure if you're gonna like it. Reviews might be terrible. It's just too risky. Honestly, for some people, I don't see the point.
I think the other side of the coin is like, whatever content they give you in pre-orders cannot be vital to the game. So they're basically giving you, for the most part, pointless extras, because it's not going to be like, I mean, the few times that they've tried to do like a new map, it backfires because then nobody's playing it. It messes up the lobbies. It screws everything up. Yeah. So it's like a new hat or a new character like to play as a skin. So it's like, why do it?
This seems like such a massive part of the game, though. Like the way they word it, at least anyway, it seems like a massive. Like you got the old like famous characters from the film. Ripley's in it. It's just like, oh my god, and then it's just like a massive like fan service, and they just like, nope, got to pre-order it. But people are gonna pre-order it. I know they are.
Of course they will,
yeah, and it's gonna work.
It's Polygon had an article about this, and one of the things they were talking about was how these companies want you to pre-order because they don't want you to wait and see if you really like the game. So basically, they're counting on you to be not thinking, not judging, not reading. And another part that factors into this is like most websites and YouTubers too are kind of always positive about things in previews. So you don't really ever get that true judgment until after the game comes out or when the review embargo's up. So you are pre-ordering based on all this hype that 99% of the time is going to be positive, or 90% of the time is going to be positive, because it's like, oh, the game could come together. Oh, the graphics will probably get better in the next few months. Oh, they'll probably fix this. And so the previews are swayed positively, and then you're like, oh, this game's going to be good. Pre-order, get your little bonus. It almost is like they're putting like the little cheese down and you're the mouse, and they want you to just go into their pre-order cave and eat it up because they're going to give you a new hat or a new outfit.
Do you feel like press a bit biased with previews then? I feel like sometimes YouTubers are a bit dodgy. I think me and you are pretty good. Like we're just being like, for this podcast, you can tell we're being very, very honest about the games. And, But so many like Let's Players and preview channels just like constantly like the worst games. I'm gonna say any names, but someone's playing like freaking Walking Dead and they're saying it's a good game, like the Walking Dead, the survival instinct game,
right?
And saying it's a good game. While they're playing it, it's like, what the is in your head, seriously? And they do it because they went to watch the next video.
And it happens with press as well, because you see on reviews how many comments they get if there's like a 7 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10. It's all death threats, and so they want to make the previews positive. And I think they genuinely hope that the game is going to be good. They give them the benefit of the doubt. It's impossible to know if a game is going to come together if it's not. So you give them the positive, glass half full rather than glass half empty. But you run into situations then where there's downgrades. You run into situations where the game doesn't come together. You run into situations like Aliens Colonial Marines, where what they showed isn't what's really there.
Nowhere near it, yeah. It's
and
different.
you have things now where, this site has the exclusive preview. This site has the exclusive trailer. So say I'm a fan of Kotaku, they might not have the same coverage that IGN has, so I'm not even getting the full story anymore. I'm getting this very, cookie cutter, handcrafted marketing spiel that the company wants to give you. Maybe not even the developers, but the publishers. And it's like, you're not going to really know the truth until that game is reviewed, that game is played on YouTube. Somebody has that final product and can say, hey, this is what you're getting. And pre-orders kind of circumvent all that and just say, give us your money. Who cares what the game's like?
I mean, we've got a perfect example at the moment with IGN and Destiny releasing like daily content up until the beta.
Right.
And it's been very released like schedulely, and you can tell the developers behind it, like releasing like little maps and stuff, and it's just you're getting a very like bite-sized bits of this game.
Right.
To the point where we're not even sure what Destiny is about, but people are pre-ordering it. The pre-orders are going up. People are getting excited because they're seeing videos, and
it's just a shady scheme by publishers. Really, at the bottom of the day, like at the end of the day, bottom line is like, hey, if you pre-order Batman, you're going to get the Harley Quinn pack. And if you don't pre-order Batman, if you wait and see if this is a good game, then you don't get it. Like, what else
Harley
is
Quinn
that?
As well.
Like, I mean, I understand that they're not taking out, quote, the main game. They're not like removing chapter 3, but they are withholding content from you. And so you can think of a whole bunch of analogies. It's like, oh, if you don't pre-order this Harry Potter book, you're not going to get the epilogue. You're only going to get the main, you know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know. I think it's a little bit shady, and I don't really blame game developers at all. This is all a publisher thing. And I don't know. I don't pre-order anything. I wait to see what's going on with it. It's hard to trust marketing material. They want you to love their game, and the more they push it, the more you should probably worry that why are they wanting me to pre-order this game so dang much? Why are they saying, "Oh, come by, get the original cast of the movie if you pre-order so aggressively?"
I mean, we haven't really seen much on Alien Isolation. We've seen like one tiny bit of it, and it's been very, very positive on the game. So those positive reviews, like previews, and then plus this pre-order content, would probably push someone towards buying it. And we have no idea what the full game is going to be like. How's it going to be like just having one enemy on the whole ship while you go walking around for ages? It could get very boring. We have no idea. Yeah, it's just like you just got to...
And just like a simple, like really common sense thing, the game is not going to sell out. Unless you're desperate for the extreme collector's edition, which probably won't.
It used to back in the day. You used to have to pre-order it because the game would literally not be there. But the shops get so many copies now. Yeah.
And if you can't find it at your local Best Buy for one reason or another, you can have it overnighted from Amazon for a very low price. And like, I don't know, from a logic standpoint, there's basically no reason to pre-order. So. I don't know. I love to believe in the good and everything, that they're not being shady, but the more this happens, the more they lock things behind walls, the more you're like, are they just trying to steal my money? Are they just trying to sneak one by me, get me to buy this game before it even, is reviewed, before it's even a good game?
I don't know. It's a worrying trend, though, isn't it?
Yes. And the other one, just to touch on briefly, is it kind of goes hand in hand. This whole games as services model, like every game these days has a season pass, every game has pay DLC, it has microtransactions, and the elimination of just like, this is the game, buy it, play it, enjoy the story. Everything is going either, we saw it with who announced their new game this past week? Gearbox, which has that strange name that's like Bloodborne. What is it? Blood? Do you remember this?
Blood.
Oh, it's so
Blood
memorable.
Something.
It's so memorable. Blood.
Bloodborne. That's the
Blood Gearbox MOBA.
I forgot now. You know what I mean, guys? You've seen it.
It's the Gearbox MOBA. Yeah. Battleborn. There we go.
Is that this year? Is that next year?
It's got to be next year, right?
Yeah, I mean it's too late.
I believe so, but
Gearbox are doing a lot though, aren't they?
They are. They strangely are.
And they're not very. I don't rate them that highly anymore as well. So
no, I think they got a really good name for themselves with Borderlands 1, 2, and then
shot himself in the foot.
Yeah, they kind of. Yeah. Shh! Don't think about Duke Nukem. Don't think about aliens. Just look at Borderlands. We're making another one. Enjoy it. But like they're making a MOBA. It seems like everybody wants to try either open world, free to play, MOBA, MMO, because then you can sell so much stuff. You can sell new gear. You can sell expansion packs. You can sell this and that. And the era of, hey, here is, I'm even going to use the example of The Last of Us, which is a recent game. Here's The Last of Us, or here is Half-Life 2, or here is BioShock 2, or here is, I don't know, Red Dead Redemption. Those games seem to be few and far between more than ever as indie and everybody tries to find a way to make money. And does that bother you? I mean, do you want every game to be this giant experience that's the trying to capture, your entire attention forever and ever?
I'm always a bigger fan of the AAA experience. I end up getting more sort of immersed within that experience, and like Last of Us, I just get so into that game that I want to keep playing it and into the world and environment, the sounds, and I think I'd always prefer those sort of AAA experiences over something else.
Totally.
Personally.
Me too. And I guess it's just, if you look at the games coming out this year, if you look at the games coming out that have come out this year, I was talking to you about this earlier, like what game has had a good story this year?
Zero?
None?
I can't think of any.
Walking Dead Season 2.
Titanfall.
Such a story. Such an awesome story that nobody even knows what it is. But you think about the games coming out. We've got Evolve, Destiny. None of these games are really focusing on delivering you like this epic tale, this epic individual experience. They're all about bringing you into a world. And that's really great. There are some examples that work out so well. I think Destiny will be very successful. I think a game like, I don't know, like Evolve will do very well for itself, but it's like, are we changing into such a weird industry where the AAA game that we used to know is no longer going to be the AAA game we now know? Is AAA going to become, I mean, think of the way Ubisoft is taking things. They want to create worlds that are replicable and that they can just fill in with missions. So eventually, do we just not even buy Assassin's Creed every year? We just get Assassin's Creed, the giant game, and they just throw in, oh, here's the China pack, here's the feudal Japan pack, here's the American Revolution pack, and you're not even getting a consistent experience. It's just this random world because they want you in, they want you to spend money, they want your attention, your eyeballs, your pocketbook for as long as they can.
I completely agree. I mean, they're trying to make the world bigger, aren't they? And just sort of trying to get you in there and just play it all the time, like just constantly playing. And then obviously they bring out the DLC, and it's like a constant cycle of. I just worry that the games are going to become in too much like, here's the next Assassin's Creed, here's the next one. I mean, they're still apparently going to announce the last gen version, like the 360 version.
Is that still in works? Supposedly,
yeah, it's still working. I think it's going to be this year as well. So I mean, honestly, it's just constant. And when's it going to come to a head that everyone's just like, nope, I'm fed up now. This is getting a bit silly. I don't know.
If it happens, will it happen?
We can't have Assassin's Creed every year and Call of Duty every year. It's just not gonna.
Well,
I mean, people start getting pissed off with Battlefield because it's so similar.
And not only one every year, but then they try to sell you extra stuff every time, and we get these weird situations where I can't even. Well, I don't play Call of Duty in the first place, but I couldn't play Call of Duty throughout the year because if I don't buy those DLC, it splits the market, and it splits the market, and it splits the market, and so it's basically like your game, especially for shooters, something like Battlefield, Call of Duty, Titanfall, your game lasts for what, 4 months, and then it's out of date because you have to buy the DLC, otherwise you're not playing with the main pack of people, and that is just a very weird thing. And I know a lot of people criticize Nintendo for not having a lot of DLC, not having a lot of online, but the one thing they do have is when you buy their game, you pretty much get the game, and there's no
definitely a plus.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So the weird world of gaming. Where are we going? What is happening?
It's getting a bit messy, and whether people are going to start noticing an uprising against this sort of stuff is going to be interesting for sure. I mean, I think in the next couple of years, people are going to start not buying Call of Duty. Battlefield's going to get hit quite bad this year, I think. Hardline's not going to impress people.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to start. I think the stuff like Assassin's Creed Unity, for example, I think that's showing improvements, and that's got enough change for me to like be excited again. For me, I mean, that's what I like seeing. I like seeing sort of revolutions and cycles that are improving over time. But I feel like Battlefield's almost going downhill. Call of Duty is just going to be the same stuff over and over.
Yeah.
But
do you think we've run into the last little question on this thread is, do you think we've run into an instance where there are so many games coming out, so many indie games, so many AAA games, just so many games, except for July and August, of course. But besides that, so many games that like we've seen so much. And so it's almost impossible to create the special anymore. It's so expensive to make these games. You know, they're trying to push them out. They're trying to make money, free to play this, annualization that. So many different kinds, so much this that it's almost a glut, and that there's just an oversaturation. And so memorable experiences have all but been washed out because now everything kind of mixes together, everything kind of merges together, and you know you're going to play the next one in 12 months. So it's like, hey, it doesn't really matter if this is the most special Assassin's Creed. We're going to try again in 12 months.
There must be a bit of that, mustn't there? I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say, isn't it? But I just get worried that it's going to be a yearly thing, and there's not going to be enough full of momentum to keep improving on over again. But
as annoying as people get with like the 6-year cycles for a game like BioShock Infinite, like you do have to respect that they are genuinely trying to craft the best experience to deliver to players, and
that's why I like Naughty Dog and stuff so much, because they craft so much time into it, and I get really story is such a weakness for me. Like I get into a story so. Like stuff like the Valiant Hearts recently, I just got so into that story.
I want those games that capture your heart, that capture your imagination, that really capture your everything, and just leave a mark on you instead of just, oh, this is a fun game to go shoot the rocket launcher and blow this guy up and then buy the DLC.
Is there anything this year?
No, there's nothing.
No,
there's
nothing like that at all. There's no Naughty Dog. There's no Halo, Firewall.
The only thing on the horizon, some people will argue that Metal Gear Solid 5 could be that, because that's a pretty story-focused game. But the only other thing on the horizon...
where you can take sheep
yeah.
up to your little thing. It's just such a weird game now.
Whatever. But yeah, Uncharted 4, I mean... the funny part is, like, whether it takes the company 12 months to make, 36 months, or 6 years, we still pay $60. And at a certain point, I wonder if that's going to become an issue. That's why they can't take that long anymore, because it's the same price. Like, in theory, a game like...
that one's gone up in the UK.
Yeah, you're unlucky. But in theory, a game like Last of Us or BioShock, maybe that should be a $100 game, because it's a much more monumental experience than Transformers Rise of the Dark Spark or whatever the heck the new one's called, than, Call of Duty 6000.
Yeah, if they start dropping down the price of Call of Duty every year, I'd be happy. If they start saying multiplayer's $30, the whole game is like $60, or... So I think that's what they got to start doing, maybe, with those sort of games. Like trying to section parts off.
Sure. For so long, they've kept games at this standardized level. I would be very intrigued to see if they decided to adopt more of a staggered model. So we've got the $40 releases, the $50, the $60, maybe even $80 releases. What would that do to gaming? There's a lot for you guys to digest and chew on there. What we're going to be digesting soon, though, is the Destiny beta, and I wanted to just gauge your interest, because we've gone up and down on Destiny many times. Now that we've played the alpha, now that the beta is only a couple days away, where do you sit for Bungie's new Epic?
There's still so many unanswered questions for that game. It's just like, what's the story? Why does the ghost sound so depressing?
They're re-recording that, don't worry.
Well, they're not re-recording it, just editing the voice to sound more robotic.
Oh.
It's not actually re-recording the whole audio.
I thought they said that he was re-recording some lines, no?
They may record some lines, but they're not going to record the whole thing. It could take too long, I think. Okay. But there's so many things that I don't know what's happening. I mean, is the beta going to be dramatically different from the alpha, and is there going to be enough content? I don't know. I wasn't completely sold on the alpha, but I'm interested. It's bitten my interest. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I guess where I sit on the game is I had so much fun playing the alpha that I'm excited for the beta, but I share the same concerns you have. Like, for the biggest game of all time or whatever they're trying to say it is, like we've seen old Russia. And we've seen like what else goes on in this game. I sure hope there's like 100 of those areas, because if there's only like 8, well, I don't know. It's one of those very odd games, and to me it feels like Watch Dogs, where I go in and I really don't know what it is. Like I know what it is from the trailers that they showed me, but I really don't know what it is. And
I don't think we're gonna know fully until the game comes out.
yeah,
honestly,
they're selling us on like a concept instead of a concrete idea. Like, hey, you're gonna be able to play with your friends and do all these quests and get all this gear, and it's gonna be so great. We got all these planets and expansions, and then you see the trailer and it's like, oh, that's the giant robotic beetle again. I don't. Did you watch the beta trailer, right?
Yeah, it looks exactly the same stuff to what I've seen already.
Yeah,
so I'm
like what?
Okay,
what are they doing?
And I mean, I'd like to see, like, just for like comparison's sake, if they just done Destiny as like a single player game with a bit of multiplayer, and this MMO stuff they've done, I'd like to see the comparison like between what I would prefer. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure I know which one I prefer.
Oh, me too.
Yeah,
me too. It's interesting also to me that in the beginning they weren't even talking about competitive, and now I feel like that's almost become like they're talking about that so much. There's like always a new map revealed, new trailer, this, the Crucible, blah blah blah. And
oh my god,
what is the real game? We don't know what the balance is. We don't know how much content there is. They assure us that there's a great story. They assure us that the Guardians and the Watcher and the...
From what I saw was terrible in terms of story. From what I've seen so far, it looks like based like a Borderlands. It's like a side thing they just chucked in. Now,
we won't know this until I guess we play the full game, but do you think there's a risk that they blow a lot of their hype on this beta? We suppose that happened to Titanfall, that they blew a lot of their hype on the free beta. Do you think, I mean, this one is tied to pre-orders, but I'm sure there will be codes floating around. Do you think that they risk blowing hype too early?
I think they're going to show such a small portion of this game. I don't think it's going to be a massive factor. It'd be old Russia again, and there's so many like planets we can look at. I think it won't be as bad as Titanfall, but it may. I think some people may play it and go, "Yeah, that's a bit boring. I can't really see the point of this game," and may cancel their pre-order. Maybe I don't know.
I don't even know if they cancel the pre-order. I'm more just saying like Titanfall came out, and people are like, "Whoa!" And then 3 weeks later, people's like, "What? The crickets?" Right? So
what do you mean? Like once the game comes out, everyone's
I'm just saying because they've had so much exposure. Like when we get a game like. You know, I'm trying to think of a game that hasn't had a beta recently that was a very popular, sort of massive title. But like, let's even just take Assassin's Creed, since we've talked about that so much. When you get Assassin's Creed, you haven't played any of it. You're like, I just want to dive into this world, explore it, check out the little multiplayer things, this, that. If you've already played the alpha, if you've already played the beta, if you've already seen 10,000 videos, if you've already created your character twice, maybe 3 times if you played it, again, you're going to get that game on launch day and be like, I've done this. I've played this. I'm still excited because it's the full game, but I feel like in terms of it just loses that spark. It's like if you already know what the present you're getting for Christmas is, you're still excited to have it, but it doesn't have that moment that generates a buzz that then snowballs into an epic gaming event. I feel like when people started playing The Last of Us, it was madness on message boards. It was crazy on NeoGAF, all over Twitter. But people have already been talking about Destiny who've played the alpha. The beta is going to be opened up to everybody, right? Eventually?
Pretty much.
Yeah. And so
not everyone. Is it everyone?
Does it open? I thought it opens up like later to every, maybe not. Okay, well, most people that want the game are already going to play it, talk about it, know about it. And it's like then the game comes out and it's just, it makes me think of Steam Early Access, which is kind of a terrible, terrible thought. But
terrible comparison.
I don't know what they gain from this. Really.
It's going to be. I think any game would struggle to not lose a little bit of hype off of it.
But what do they gain?
Very, very, very special game to be like get extra hype off of the beta. I think so.
What do you think Bungie gains from this?
Pre-orders? I personally think, yeah, pre-orders. I think they were worried that the game wasn't coming across to people enough. I think this is probably perhaps why they've done the alpha and the beta to really try and push like. This is what the game is, because I don't think it was clear from like trailers. People like, what the hell is this game? No, it's not clear. For me, it's not clear.
I mean, to me, it's like it's a new Bungie game from the makers of Halo in a year where the new Halo isn't coming out. I personally think a lot of people would buy this game without a beta or alpha, and that's why I'm just wondering, companies seem to be doing these to test it out, to make sure people like it, to give them a taste. And I wonder if in a year or two, we're going to see an about face and no betas because it's actually hurting the final product more than helping.
Well, to be honest, the pre-orders for Destiny were terrible.
Were they?
Back, it must have been a while ago, around Watch Dogs launch.
Why are you guys pre-ordering the games? Don't even do it.
They weren't pre-ordering the game. They had no clue what the game was.
Yeah.
People like...
That's fine, though. Make the game... Prove that your game is good. I mean, I know it's all a money game, a business thing, but...
Yeah, but that's like... For them, it's like, oh my god, panic mode. I mean, why are people not pre-ordering it? It's like...
I guess I just want people to realize that all of this stuff that goes on is pro-publisher. It's not pro-consumer. They don't have your best interests. You're proving the point right there. They're not trying to show you what the game is. They're trying to boost their pre-order numbers and
exactly.
get you with a little reward, which is to be in the beta. And a game like Evolve is having an alpha supposedly soon. That's a game where I think that initial first play is the most exciting play you're going to have of that entire game. So blowing that early for people, I mean, I guess that builds hype, it builds buzz, but...
I think Evolve would lose a lot of buzz from it as well.
Yeah.
Because you play with all the characters, you play a map, you play as the monster, and then what else do you do after that? I mean, it's... Yeah.
What is going on with the gaming industry? We are lost in the midst of a stormy sea. But on the other hand, the fall season, it's not right around the corner, but the corner is a couple corners down. And I think we're both excited just to be able to play a bunch of awesome games again. And it does kick off the Destiny beta soon. Last of Us Remastered after that. Then we have another lull with nothing. And
when's the next one? After that? Is it Destiny after that?
Basically, yeah. So September 9th. And then it's full-on insanity mode where we'll have Dragon Age 3 and this and that, blah, 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 blah. So it will get good. We may be at the depths of the year right now, but we will rise up soon. And hopefully your sunburn will heal before then.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Send your love to Scott over at youtube.com/GameRiotArmy. Follow him on Twitter, twitter.com/GameRiotArmy. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/GhostRobo. And you're already here on the channel. So thank you guys and girls so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed our weekly discussion on all the latest and greatest in gaming. Thank you for joining us, Scott.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Take care of Thomas and that sunburn. And until next time, drink some hot chocolate. Fantastic day. And we will see you all later.